Well, it's a hot summer evening in Maine, and if you've missed the action as much as I have, you'll be delighted to hear me say welcome to another evening of Greater Northeast Collegiate Baseball action. Today we're at the Larry Mahaney Diamond at St. Joseph's College in Standish, bringing you the matchup between the Lightning and the Norsemen. I'm Charlie Fellows, as always. Delighted to bring you back from our week-long hiatus from the 4th of July. I hope everybody at home had a great holiday break. I know I sure did, but I am itching to be back behind the microphone in a figurative sense today due to my unique location. This is a new view that erstwhile viewers of the channel have not yet had, sitting in a lookout tower of sorts out in center field. We'll see things the way fans do for Major League games. Just a bit zoomed in. There may be some audio quality issues due to the cramped lack of space, making it impossible to use some of the technology that I typically do, but that has never stopped me before, and I will still do everything I can to bring this game to you. And the man in the action today on the mound, starting this one for the Norsemen, is Cam Doohan, with a defense around him of Ben Seguin at first, Chris Cimino at second, his brother Kyle Doohan at shortstop. Lucas Francis moving from his normal position on the mound. He's playing third today. In the outfield, Nate Rogers, Anthony Poole, and David Jurowitz from left to right. And David York doing the catching for Cam Doohan. The Augusta native, rising freshman at Colby, making his first start on the season, and he is about to face off against the leadoff man for the Lightning, Henry Lodger, as we are about ready to get going here in Standish with the return of GNCBL action. Doohan starts him off with a ball, and we are underway. The man he's facing is Henry Lodger, heading into his freshman year, as all the members of this Lightning squad are. He's going to Husson in the fall. 2-0. Lodger, a Saco native, graduated from Thornton Academy High School in the spring. Cut and a miss for strike one. His Lightning squad, of which he is now a part, now 2-2, started off 0-2 with consecutive losses to the Nor'easters, but got on the win column against the Windjammers and then beat the Nor'easters soundly in the last game before the hiatus began back on Friday at Old Orchard Beach, and a game you can watch if you scroll back on the channel a bit. As Lodger fouls back, pitch number 4, 2-2 from Doohan. Left-hander fires high for a full count to start this one off. Doohan's made a handful of appearances in relief this season, but this is his first start. Payoff pitch. Lined into right field, for a base hit. Fielded by the right fielder Cassidy. Lodger is aboard with a leadoff single. I have an inverted view compared to where I'm normally at, so right field it was. That will bring up Henry Bebo, second man in this rotation from Portsmouth. Heading to Bowdoin in the fall. And that hit him. So quick 2 men aboard. Bebo, quick one pitch at bat. Gets a free pass for the third man in this lineup, Richie Gilboy, who hits it hard into center field, coming on and making the grab, Anthony Poole. The runners will stay put. Gilboy's got some pop, but didn't quite get under that one enough. So 1 away. For the cleanup man, Andrew Heffernan. He was teammates with Gilboy on South Portland, team that won the state championship a few months ago. Now bats right behind him. Takes a massive cut and misses. Heffernan is third in the GNCBL in slugging. The man who just batted, Gilboy, is second. So a massive 1-2 punch. Doings 0-1 outside. 2 on, 1 out in the top of the first. The Norsemen are 3-5-1. They are fourth of 5 teams in the GNCBL. The Lightning just ahead of them at 2-2. Another big cut. 1-2 count to the reigning Gatorade Baseball Player of the Year in the state of Maine. Lefty fires, hit high and deep into left field, but under it to make the grab is Nate Rogers out in left for the second out. Two down for Grady Hotham, the 5th man in this 10-man order. Hotham starting at second base today. Ball 1 inside. He's a native of Palermo, went to Erskine Academy up there in South China, a couple towns over. Now he's heading to USM. Grounded to second base, throwing on to Seguin at first to retire the side. The first 2 men reach base, but they are stranded there. 0-0 ball game going into the bottom of the first. Getting ready for the bottom of the second now with the man on the mound for the home Lightning, Gavin Balarjan, one of many ace caliber starting pitchers in this rotation. And he's got a defense around him of Richie Gilboy at first, Grady Hotham at second, Henry Bebo at short, Andrew Heffernan at third. In the outfield from left to right, Matthew Connor, Henry Lodger, and Campbell Cassidy. And Reese Owens doing the catching for the right-hander from Woolwich. Went to Morris High School. He's made 1 start already this year, and it was a great one. Pitched 4 innings, did not allow an earned run. One of a pair of pitchers in the GNCBL to have done that and thus qualify for a 0.00 ERA. The lineup he will be facing will seek to change that statistic. It is a unit of Chris Cimino, Nate Rogers, Kyle Dewan, Anthony Poole, Riley Hassan, Ben Seguin, David York, David Jurowitz, Regan Thomas, and Lucas Francis. The first of them being Chris Cimino, the senior at Bates, who is almost ready to stand in at the conclusion of this warm-up routine. The Lightning, winners of 2 in a row, trying to get back into the heart of the standings after an 0-2 start. They are the defending champions in this league to the extent that that matters. Of course, no remaining players on this team from that title squad, as all the players each year are rising freshmen. But the manager, Matt Powers, experienced with competing late into the season. They're trying to bring their record above 500. And the man to try and stop them first is Cimino, who looks at a low ball. He's a Scarborough native, went to Cheverus. Hit .318 with 7 doubles. His junior year, at Bates. 1-1 from Balarjan. 1 around. That's high to the backstop. Belarjan, the man on the mound, was an excellent hitter for the Shipbuilders his senior year. Hit .288, drove in 14 runs. He'll bring that hitting and pitching talent to UMaine up in Orono as he gets Chimino looking to lead off his start. One man down for Nate Rogers, the left fielder, who lays off ball one, going into his senior year at St. Michael's. Larno in the zone. Rogers, also a Chevrolet graduate, just like the man before him, looks at strike two. Belarjan finding the zone early. 1-2. Just high. Chopped on the infield to short, running on and making the play is Henry Bebo to retire the second man. That will bring up Kyle Dewan, the older brother of the man on the mound. Heading into his sophomore year at USM. As a slight breeze is picking up, ruffling my notes a bit, lined foul for strike one. So any crinkling of paper you may hear, that's why. A 1. Cut and a miss on a ball in the dirt. Dewan hit a walk-off home run a couple weeks ago to get his team a win over the Nor'easters. Inside for ball one. That was against the Patriots, excuse me. A game they trailed by 5 runs. The Norsemen have come back from many deficits in the past, though it's certainly no way to live, and their 3-5-1 record suggests that it doesn't always work out for them. They'd certainly like to grab a lead early. Dewan is the man to ask. He's hitting .400, slugging .1.367. One of the premier hitters in this league as he works the count 2-2. Belarjan fires, and that's low for ball 4. Dewan is aboard as a 2-out base runner. First allowed by Belarjan to bring up the cleanup hitter, Anthony Poole, a junior at USM. Poole is from South Portland, went to school with a few of the guys on the other team. One over to Poole. He's hitting .242, batted in 7 runs, which is tied for 5th in the league. Cut and a miss. Hit .308 with 2 doubles, batted in 7 runs his sophomore season with the Huskies. Belarjan throws over to first, and that gets through the glove of Richie Gilboy. So down to second, rounding second and heading for third now is Dewan. A throw comes in, and he is safe standing up. Free man on third as a result of the error. By the glove of Gilboy from an innocent pickoff attempt, and now we've got a mound conference. Manager Matt Powers and his infield will talk things over. Didn't look like it was a particularly bad throw from Belargin. Wouldn't have got him, but wouldn't have gone all the way to the right field wall if not for a misplay by his first baseman. That allowed a man to get to third base with 2 down for the sure-handed hitting Poole. That mound visit draws to a close. Belargin has a strategy. Nothing game in the bottom of the first. Big swing and a miss for strike 1. With Riley Hassan on deck, another average hitter. Average hitter, of course, meaning hitting for average. So well above average in the average department, you could say. 1-1. Curveball outside for the second ball. Kyle Doohan 90 feet away with 2 outs. And that'll get to the box stop, and Doohan will try to score, and will do so without incident. A wild pitch goes off the pads of the catcher Owens, allowing Doohan to score and put the Norsemen on the board. That was quite the adventure around the base paths for him. He walked, got to third on an error, and then got to home on a wild pitch as Poole steals second successfully. With Riley Hassan at bat, a senior at Johnson and Wales. Slaps it on the infield over to the first baseman, tossing on to Belargin to retire the side, but the Norsemen strike first in an unorthodox move for them. The Lightning now trailing 1-0 as we head to the second inning here in Standish. Ready to start the second inning here at St. Joseph's with a new face in the Lightning lineup, immediately roping a ball down the left field line all the way to the wall. Rounding first and heading to second safely is Nick Frink. That was his first at bat for the Lightning, and he used it to slap a double out to left field, something Frink does often. Just another fearsome power hitter in this lineup out of Thornton Academy after spending 3 seasons at Scarborough High School. We'll talk more about him later if he comes up again. Now, Campbell Cassidy hits it high and deep, foul down the right field line, right off the top of the porta potty. Cassidy is heading to Merrimack after coming within one 5-0 loss of winning the state championship with Edward Little High School up in Auburn. That is into left center field for a base hit. Frink rounding third. He will score with ease. Into first and staying there is Cassidy, and just like that, the fleeting 1-0 lead for the Norsemen is gone. Cassidy with a single, drives in Frink, and the Lightning tie at 1-1. 2 quick hits to open this inning for Reese Owens, the everyday first baseman. Normally, he's a designated hitter today. Grounds to short on a second for 1. Not enough time to turn 2. Cassidy retired on the fielder's choice. And Owens aboard. One away now for Gus Holland. Extra hitter today. Also spends a lot of time at catcher. He looks at a ball. Holland is from Freeport, heading to USM in the fall. With a man on and 1 run in, 1 out in the top of the second. 2-0. .511 lefty Cam Doohan deals a third ball on an impressive stop from the catcher David York. Three note Owens. Doohan outside. 4-pitch walk. Owens down to second. Holland aboard. First walk of the day for Doohan. The first 4 men to bat in this second inning have all reached base. Matthew Connor will try to extend that trend. He is in left today. Looks at ball 1. Heading to Assumption in the fall after graduating from Chevrolet. Doohan's 1-0. Down the middle. Slap back foul into the woods. I feel like I say this about every venue I have called a game at this season, but just a beautiful park, surrounded by woods, as many in Maine are. On the picturesque campus of St. Joseph's, that's a high pop up into the outfield. Anthony Poole gets under it, and he makes the grab. No runners will tag as Connor is retired. That is the end of the first trip through the lineup for the Lightning. Henry Lodger will bat. He singled to lead off this game. With 2 men on and 2 out. And he takes that one in the shin. So that will load the bases. Lodger aboard for the second time. Second hit by pitch from Doohan. He's already allowed 1 run in this inning. Trying to keep this game tied and leave the bases loaded. Henry Bebo was the recipient of that first hit by pitch. He bats now with the bases juiced. Just outside for ball 1. Reese Owens at third. Gus Holland at second. Henry Lodger at first. .1-0 from Doohan. Trying to find the strike zone. .2-0 is inside. Mind that clicking sound. The wind is picking up and causing the rope on a flagpole right next to me to constantly bump into it over and over again. It's due to subside any minute now. 2-1. High pop up on the infield and back, and just missing the catch. Thought he might have made the grab at first. Cam Doohan ran all the way from the pitcher's mound into foul territory, but couldn't quite haul it in. So Bebo will bat. With a 2-2 count. Seguin trying to escape the jam. And he does! Swing and a miss, strike three. The Norsemen leave them loaded. They give up one, but avoid disaster. They head to the bottom of the second, tied at 1. Bottom of the second, tied game now, 1-1. The Lightning look poised to tack on at least a couple more runs at the end of the top of this inning. But Cam Doohan escaped the jam with a flyout and a strikeout. Now his Norseman will try to return the favor against Belarjan, who leads off Ben Seguin with the ball outside. Seguin, the first baseman for this squad, a sophomore playing in his home stadium. He attends St. Joseph's. He graduated from Scarborough High School a couple years ago. Takes a 2-0 pitch into left field for a base hit. First hit, or second hit rather. First hit, a pool one was a walk. First hit given up by Belarjan. One on, none out for David York, the catcher. Takes one high for ball one. Sophomore at Husson from Kennebunk. Majoring in sport management. 2-0. Belarjan looked sharp early on in his first frame, but lost control toward the end. Wound up giving up the lone Norseman run on a wild pitch, and so far he is not consistently finding the strike zone in the bottom of the second. 2-1 the count. Foul back. Two from Belarjan is high. Now the payoff. Runner goes, cut and a miss. Striking out David York. But Seguin advancing to second on a steal. Second K for Belarjan. Now David Jurowitz will stand in. He's been on a hot streak lately, dating back to before the break. Went 4 for 5 his last time out, including a pair of doubles. He's hitting .375, which is 4th in the league. He laid off that one, 1-1. Batted in 2 runs. From Sudbury, Massachusetts. Fouled back on top of the press box. Another 0-2 from Belarjan. Line down the right field line, foul. Jurowitz fighting off more pitches. He's a sophomore, same year as Seguin at the same school, St. Joseph's, but played for the JV team as a freshman. Runner goes. Throw down to third is not in time. Sliding in safely is Seguin with his second steal. So now a man in 90 feet away, only this time just 1 out. Any ball that leaves the infield from Jurowitz will do it. Asking for time and getting it is the Massachusetts native, now the 1-2. Low. That was the 2-2, now it's 3-2. Owens made that stop to prevent the run from scoring. Payoff pitch, just inside. That's Belarjan's third walk, uncharacteristic of him. Normally so poised and in control, like the Belarjan we saw in Sanford, who dang near pitched a no-hitter against the Windjammers. 0-1 to Regan Thomas, sophomore in the transfer portal. With 2 men on and none out, runner goes. Jurowitz heading for second. No throw, he will slide in safely. That is the third steal of the inning. The Norsemen apparently got a read early on, and they are running at will on catcher Reese Owens. And Owens now will come out to talk with his pitcher. With an 0-1 count to Thomas, who spent a season at Eastern Nazarene. Did not accumulate any stats there. Now heading into his sophomore season, we know not where. Cut and a miss. Down on strikes he goes. Belarjan now with as many strikeouts as walks. And the 10th hitter will bat Lucas Francis, the ace of the staff for the Norsemen, but he's at third base today. Takes ball 1. Also a great clutch hitter. Hit a 2-run double in the Norsemen's win against the Windjammers at Central Maine Community College a couple weeks ago. And now Owens back out for another chat. 2 away, runners on second and third. The Norsemen trying to score for the second straight inning and retake the lead. Belarjan in the strike zone. Two and one to Francis. Line too short. Throwing on to first and able to get him to retire the side. 2 men in scoring position, and they are both stranded there. Norsemen can't capitalize. We head to the third inning, a 1-1 game. To the third inning we go at Larry Mahaney Diamond at St. Joseph's College. 1-1 the score. Back on the mound for a third inning of work is Cam Dewin to face the heart of the Lightning lineup, starting with Richie Gilboy, who flew out to center his first time up. Gilboy, one of 3 players in this game, 2 on his team, that have a home run this season. Andrew Heffernan's got one, as well as Kyle Dewin on the other side. 1-0, low. Gilboy got the tip of his bat on it. He, as I mentioned, is a state champion with the South Portland Red Riots. Hit .333, batted in 10 runs. So far this season, he's hitting .250. As I mentioned, the 1 home run, also batted in 4 runs. And he is slugging .583, which is second in the GNCBL. 3-1 count to the power hitter. He's heading to St. Michael's in the fall. Doing. Swing and a miss to bring the count full. Payoff pitch, got his bat on it and threw the hole into right field past a diving Seguin to get Gilboy aboard. Now we'll bring up Heffernan, the other half of the dynamic duo at the heart of this Lightning order. He also flew out his last time up, though. With Gilboy on first and none out. Looks at a breaking ball for strike, or a ball one, excuse me. Heffernan's hitting .357. Slugging .571. 6'2" right-hander, also from South Portland, heading to Merrimack, along with his teammate Campbell Cassidy this fall. Looks at a strike. First of the at-bat, 2-1. Gilboy leading. He's a power hitter, but he can run. Opts not to, with Dewan seemingly hearing me all the way from the lookout tower. Outside, 3-1. Center fielder Anthony Poole shouting encouragement to his starting pitcher, as he so often does in every game. He'll need it for this payoff pitch. Just outside. Heffernan aboard on ball 4. So after getting them both to pop out last time, he is not so lucky this time through. Dewan issues his second walk after allowing that single. Now we'll bring up Hotham, who grounded out to second. Looks at strike 1. Dewan has had his jams, but he has navigated through them with minimal, if any, damage. This one grounded to second, on to short for 1, to Seguin, diving, making the grab to prevent another run from coming in, but not able to convert the double play, and so Gilboy will score to give the Lightning the lead. And now a mound conference. Heffernan advances to third. Excuse me. I was mistaken on that. My apologies. That is a missed call by me. Gilboy is the one at third. Heffernan thrown out, trying to advance to second base. and Hotham aboard on the fielder's choice. Once again, my fault. The score is still 1-1 with 1 out. Dewin retakes the mound after the conference to face off against Nick Frink, number 99 from Thornton Academy. He's heading to Quinnipiac in the fall. Looks at 1 low. He took a year off from high school ball at Thornton Academy after 3 years with South Portland, or Scarborough, excuse me. Hit high to center. Anthony Poole makes the grab, tagging up and scoring from third is Gilboy, and now the Lightning lead at 2-1. Hotham remains at first. So the Lightning take the lead on a Nick Frink sac fly. Frink is one of the 2 runs, and he drove in the other. So already making an impact on this game in his GNCBL debut. Now Dewin with 2 down, faces off against Campbell Cassidy, who singled his first time up, looks at strike 1. Runner goes, chopped into left field, and foul. Apologize for the picture quality once again, as cutting and missing on strike 3 is Cassidy. He is thrown out at first base to retire the side. 1 more run comes in to score. The Lightning lead 2-1. Bottom of the 3rd, and a pitching change for the Lightning. Gavin Belarjan done after just 2 innings of 1 hit, 1 run, 3 strikeout ball, also walked 3. He is pulled in exchange for Josh Kopetsky out of the pen, who fires in ball 1 to Chris Cimino, who struck out looking to open this game. Kopetsky is heading to URI after graduating from Thornton Academy. Quick 2-0. To Cimino. 3-0 now. Kopetsky with a 2.83 ERA and 43 strikeouts during his high school season. As a workhorse for the Thornton Academy Trojan squad. Fires in a strike to make it 3-1. But that is ball 4. Cimino is aboard. So I was saying at the end of the last inning, the image quality is certainly not ideal, and I apologize for that. It is, I believe, the optimal balance between being able to see generally what's going on in the field and having everybody be so tiny that none of this matters anyway, and you may as well be watching a black screen with a voice overlaid on it. I hope my commentary makes this intelligible, as Nate Rogers with an 0-1 count. He grounded out to short his first time up. That goes off the glove of York, but not far away enough for Cimino to capitalize. 1-1. Kopetsky fires in a strike. The right-hander was the ace of a Thornton squad that lost 4-2 to Sopo, the eventual champs, in the main Class A playoffs as Chimino steals second base on ball 2. Kopetsky, one of a handful of players, Nick Swain and Justin LaBelle, the other two, to be Thornton Academy graduates. Also, Nick Frink, technically. Though Frink and LaBelle never actually suited up for the Trojans. 3-1, line to second. Hotham throws on to Gilboy for the first out. Chimino down to third. For Kyle Doohan, who scored the only run the Norsemen have. He walked his first time up, reached second and then third on an error by the first baseman Gilboy, then made it home on a Gavin Belargin wild pitch. High down the right field line, arcing foul off the bleachers. 1-1 to the Coney High School graduate. An Augusta native, just like his brother, as one would figure. Swings and misses at a high strike. He's hitting .400. With an OPS at nearly 1.5. Deep down the right field line, but coming on and making the grab for the third out is Campbell Cassidy. Norsemen go quietly. We head to the next frame. Top of the fourth now in Standish. Apologize for the abrupt ending to that last inning. It's a bit of a confusion as I only had 2 outs in my scorecard when the inning ended, and I saw everybody running back to the dugouts. We'll work out that confusion. Clearly I missed something, so we'll get the lineup back on track. The names I mentioned at the end of that inning as being the people at bat may not have been correct. So apologies for that. Cam Doohan back on the mound, delivers strike 1 to Reese Owens, who reached on a fielder's choice last time up. Was later stranded at third when Henry Bebo struck out. Skips one in the dirt, 1-1. Doohan. Inside, but just nicks the strike zone. One and two is slapped softly to Cam, who throws on a Seguin for the first out. To bring up Gus Holland, who walked his first time up. Gets that one foul. The Freeport native, 0-1 count. Doohan fires a fastball low. 1-1. Skips on the dirt once more. Holland has to leap out of the way of it. None on, 1 out. 3 balls, 1 strike. to the designated hitter, Holland. Hits a high pop-up into shallow center. Coming on and making the grab is Poole for out number 2. Matthew Connor will bat to try and make it not a 1-2-3 inning. He flied out to the very same man Holland just did out in center field. Lewiston native looks at a strike. And the game, his team trails by 1 here in the top of the 4th. Nearly halfway through this contest. 7 innings, of course, as always. One and one from Doohan. Line into left field, going back on at Poole, covering ground and unable to get there. That'll roll all the way to the wall. Going into second and rounding second is Connor. He's heading for third. Throw comes in, and he is safe. A slide-in triple from Matthew Connor. That's certainly one way to bring your team back from the brink of a 1-2-3 inning. And that will bring the top of the order back up to play. Henry Lodger has singled and been hit by a pitch. Has a chance to drive in a third run. Chop foul down the left field line. Fielded on one hop by the Norsemen manager, Matt Rogers. 1-1 to Lodger. 2 away, but a man on third. Skipped into the dirt. York makes the stop. Connor has to stay put. Two on, popped into left field. By that I mean right field. Catch made by Jurowitz for the third out. The Lightning become the latest team to leave a man in scoring position, but they still lead it 2-1. As we've hit our halfway point, we head to the bottom of the 4th. Bottom of the 4th, Kopetsky back on the mound. Facing Riley Hassan, as just as I suspected, I missed a batter in the previous half inning. So my apologies to whoever that was. They made an out of some kind. But we are back on track. Hassan, massive cut. He grounded out to first base his last time up. Grounds that one off the pitcher's mound to the shortstop, running on, making the throw for the first out. Henry Bebo makes that running put out. This will bring up Ben Seguin, who singled and then stole second and then stole third, but was ultimately stranded there. That was in the second inning. A one from Kopetsky. That was a 1-0. Rather, now 2-0. Kopetsky way behind in this count. Fires in a strike. Line into right, but well foul. Full count now to the first baseman for the Norsemen with one away. Kopetsky. And I believe that's called strike 3. It is. Seguin strikes out, looking first K for Kopetsky in an inning and 2/3. To bring up David York, the catcher who's made some great stops to prevent more runs from scoring. As it is, the Norsemen trail by just 1, but the Lightning have had many runners on third as that's hit high and deep, back to left and caught at the warning track, the base of the wall. Matthew Connor didn't even have to jump, thought it might have enough to at least go off the wall, but a very loud third out. Lightning keep their 1-0 lead heading into the 5th inning. Top of the 5th here at the Larry Mahaney Diamond in Standish. The Norsemen have made a pitching change. Cam Doohan is done after 4 innings, 4 hits, and 1 earned run. And the Norsemen have swapped one lefty for another. Now in is Kyle Sawyer, the 6'1" left-hander from the University of Maine at Farmington. Fires in strike 1 to Henry Bebo, batting for the 3rd time. He has struck out and been hit by a pitch. Fouls that one back. Sawyer is a Thornton Academy graduate. He's from Saco. With the Beavers up in Farmington, made a handful of appearances out of the bullpen. 1 start, 8 total appearances. His ERA was 14.40. He allowed 8 runs over the course of 5 innings. He's been much more solid this season. A solid arm out of the bullpen for skipper Matt Rogers. Lined into left field, foul by Bebo. One, two. Hit high and deep out to center field, going back on it. Poole running on, and at the base of the wall it falls. He can't get there. Rounding second and eventually holding up and thinking better of it is Henry Bebo. He's got himself a leadoff double. I tell you what, a big gust of wind came up right as that ball was hit. And I think that may have been the only reason that ball did not go over the fence. The Norsemen may have caught a massive break there. But as it stands, Henry Bebo on second with none out. Kyle Sawyer pitching to Richie Gilboy, who has singled and flied out. Breeze once again picking up, lined past the diving glove of Seguin into right field. And taking advantage of a throw home, even though Bebo held up at third. Some smart base running by Gilboy. He's able to get second base for free because of that. Back-to-back doubles off the reliever Sawyer. And that will bring up the last man you want to see in a situation like this, with runners on second and third and none out. Andrew Heffernan stands in with a chance to blow this game open. He has walked and flied out to left. He hasn't done much in this game. Dances out of the way of a pitch in the dirt. Breaking ball Make it 1-1. And takes another one low. 3-0. Sawyer needs to buckle down or risk walking the bases loaded. 3-0 from the left-hander is hit hard out to left, and that'll fall for a fair ball. 2 runs will score. Into second base, standing up is Heffernan, and wide open, he has blown it. A third straight double for the Lightning off of Kyle Sawyer, scoring Bebo and Gilboy to make this a 4-1 game. Brief mound conference. Needed one, I'd say. Still none out. Sawyer facing off with Grady Hotham, who has hit into a fielder's choice and grounded out. Gets that one rolling down the left field line. Eventually fielded by Rogers. That will score Heffernan. A fourth consecutive double, excuse me. Heffernan in to make it a 5-1 ball game. And now manager Nate Rogers coming out to take Kyle Sawyer out of the game. He does not record an out in the top of the 5th, gives up 4 consecutive doubles, leading to 3 runs. His squad now trails 5-1. New pitcher in, same dominant arm for the Norsemen as 6'2" left-hander out of St. Joseph's, Andrew Keniston, pitching on his familiar mound. He is subbed in for Kyle Sawyer, who is pulled from the game after facing 4 batters. Henry Bebo, Richie Gilboy, Andrew Heffernan, and Grady Hotham, and allowing a double to every single one of them. 3 runs already in, and still no outs. Keniston will try to clean things up. He's from Center Ossipee, New Hampshire, attended Kingswood Regional High School. His freshman year here with the Monks, he made 3 appearances out of the bullpen. 2 1/3 innings, no runs allowed. He will face off against Nick Frink, who hits it moderately hard into right, but nothing David Jurowitz can't handle, for a welcome first out. One away for Campbell Cassidy. He has singled and struck out. Also been thrown out at second. Cassidy hit .323 with Edward Little High School up in Auburn. His high school season grounds that to third. Francis throws on to Seguin for the second out. Hotham stays put at second. Quick 2 down after the double quartet. Keniston making much quicker work of these Lightning bats. He'll try and do the same to Reese Owens. Leads him off in the zone with a strike on the curveball. Owens has reached down a fielder's choice, grounded out to the pitcher. 2 down, and a man on second. Keniston can end this inning with a load of damage already done. 1-0. Once again, Keniston's got that curveball calibrated perfectly today. Just another of the seemingly endless parade of lefty relievers that Matt Rogers has on his staff. That one skips in the dirt and will allow Hotham to take third base. One and two count to the future Monk, Reese Owens, heading to St. Joseph's this fall. Cutting a miss for strike three. The Norsemen get out of it, but not before 3 runs come around to score. All of them charged to Kyle Sawyer, but Andrew Keniston comes in and gets 3 quick outs. To the bottom of the fifth we go. Lightning 5, Norsemen 1. Josh Kopetsky done after 2 innings, not allowing a run, just 1 base runner on a walk. The man coming in to pitch the bottom of the 5th for the Nor'easters is Blake Peoples, a graduate of Wyndham High School. Gives up a doubler to second on to first for the first out to the first man he faces, David Jurowitz. Peoples heading to SMCC in the fall. Now with a 1 out, he faces off against Regan Thomas, who struck out swinging his first time up, and gets a cut and a miss in that same vein to begin this plate appearance. The Norsemen scored 1 run as Regan takes another cut and comes up empty once more. Scored 1 run in the bottom of the 1st. And have only managed a couple base runners since then. Ball 1. Since the first inning, the Norsemen have had a total of 3 base runners, 2 of them in the second inning, and no runs. And the 1 run they did score was a bit fluky in and of itself. Kyle Doohan reached on the walk, got to third on a throwing error, then got home on a wild pitch. Still, a run is a run. Peoples' 2-2 is hit right at the right fielder, Campbell Cassidy. And quick 2 away. For Lucas Francis, the 10th and final man in this rotation. He grounded out to short at the end of the second inning. Looks at a ball high. Blake Peoples' fastball. Peoples had a 4-1 record as a starting pitcher for a Wyndham Eagles squad that went 6-10 overall, as that's skipped on the infield. Fielding it on the run, the third baseman Heffernan, who throws on to Gilboy to retire the side. A quick 1-2-3 inning for Blake Peoples. The Norsemen continue to be flummoxed by these Lightning pitchers. To the 6th inning we go. Lightning 5, Norsemen 1. Andrew Keniston back on the mound for the top of the 6th to face off against Holland, Connor, and Lodger. Gus Holland swings at the first pitch, lined it to second base, but no play to be made. Holland aboard for the second time. First hit allowed by Keniston. Now is Gus Holland, and David York diving stop on that one. He's had a number of stops like that tonight to keep base runners from advancing. Holland has, this is Matthew Connor. He has tripled and flied out to center. in the dirt for ball 2, 2-1. Keniston, 6'2" left-hander. Fastball high and outside. Foul back out of play. Lightning with Campbell Cassidy warming up in the bullpen just to the left of me. Two and two to Matthew Connor. Lined into right field for a base hit. In the second and staying there is Holland. Two quick singles off of Keniston. Two men aboard for the top of the order. And Henry Lodger has singled, been hit by a pitch and flat out to right. He faces Keniston for the first time. One and one from Keniston. Thornton Academy graduate takes it outside, 2-1, with runners on first and second, none out. Line to the backstop. Lightning with two more frames to tack on any insurance runs. What was looking like a tight, hard-fought game early on has turned into a bit of a wider margin. The Lightning have been doing that to people lately. Hit on the infield, running on, tagging second one, and double clutching was the shortstop, Kyle Dewan. He probably could have turned a double play if he hadn't hesitated. But gets the force out at second. Holland down to third. Connor is retired. Lodger aboard on the fielder's choice. Runners on first and third with one out for Henry Bebo, who was the first of the 4 straight doubles in the previous inning. In total, the Lightning have racked up 6 extra base hits, including the Matthew Connor triple, as Bebo hits that one into the dirt. He's also been hit by a pitch and struck out. Popped him up into foul territory. Going on is Seguin and can't track it down. May have lost it in the transition from sun to shadow. Had to dive back and could not quite get his glove on it. So Bebo's plate appearance will continue. 1-2. First ball of the at-bat. The Lightning's 6th run stands 90 feet away to let them even closer to getting their 3rd straight win. Keniston. Bebo pops up into shallow right. Shortstop Kyle Doohan makes the grab for the 2nd out. The runners will not tag. And Richie Gilboy has single, doubled, and flied out with 2 away and runners on the corners. Runner goes, low for ball 1, throwing into 3rd and past the glove of the 3rd baseman Francis. Tagging up and scoring now will be Gus Holland. On the throwing error from the catcher, David York. Lazier got to 2nd on the steal, gets to 3rd on the error. 1-0 to Gilboy. Hit hard into right, down for a fair ball down the right field line. Tracking it down, Jurowitz. Into 2nd now is Gilboy. Driving in Lazier for the 7th Lightning run. Gilboy's 3 for 4 with 2 doubles. Another monster day of power hitting for him. Two 2-out runs off of Keniston. And that's popped into right field by Andrew Heffernan. Going back to make the catches, David Jurowitz for the 3rd out. But the Lightning tack on 2 more. The Norsemen go into the bottom of the 6th, down by 6. Bottom of the 6th in Standish at St. Joseph's College. Blake Peoples takes the mound for a 2nd inning of work to face off against the top of the Norsemen lineup, Chris Cimino, at the plate, and he hits it hard but foul down the left field line. Nate Rogers and Kyle Doohan to follow him. Cimino has struck out looking and walked. Two and out. Peoples is low. Excuse me, that was a 1-1. Now a 2-1. Cimino lined down the left field line. That's going to drop for a fair ball. No, just foul. Looked from my vantage point like it was over the line, but not from the home plate umpires. Cimino has to settle for a 2-2 count. And he swings and misses at strike 3. The catcher Reese Owens throwing down to complete the strikeout. Cimino strikes out for the 2nd time. Nate Rogers has grounded out twice. Once to 2nd, once to short. Facing the flamethrower from Wyndham for the first time. That's grounded to Grady Hotham. Over to Gilboy for a quick 2nd out. Rogers is 0 for 3 with 3 groundouts. And Kyle Dewin, now the only Norseman to score in this game, did so in the first inning after getting aboard on a walk. Also made an out his second time up. Peoples leaves the curveball low. 2-0 count. The Lightning continuing their dominant winning streak. The wins have not just been wins, they have been comfortable wins. Wins by 5, 6, and possibly more runs in this game if they can tack on a few more in the top of the 7th. After a quick 2 losses to open things, they have found their footing, and the week-long break from the 4th of July has done nothing to dampen their momentum. The only thing that could stop them now, it seems, is a classic Norseman comeback. Will we see it here tonight? Kyle Dewin can get things started. That's one way to get things going. A 2-out walk, second drawn by Dewin in the game. First issued by Peoples, and that will bring up Anthony Poole, who himself has walked. He's also flat out. One of the league's premier clutch hitters aboard via the walk. Can Anthony Poole give the Norsemen some signs of life here? Quick 2-0. People's trying to find the strike zone again. Swinging fouled back into the woods. Norsemen have done it before. They went into a game against the Patriots up in Harrison, trailing 9-1 in the bottom of the 7th and scored 6 runs. Did not eventually win the game. That one's through for a base hit. Anthony Poole continuing a possible 2-out rally. Dewin down to second. So Riley Hassan will bat with 2 men aboard. He has grounded out to the pitcher and grounded out to short. It's granted time. Too many a chuckle from his own dugout. Peoples working his way out of a jam. Starts off with the ball. Line down the left field line and through for a base hit. Rounding third and scoring is Dewin. Throw comes in, not in time, and taking advantage of the errant throw from the left fielder Matthew Connor are the 2 base runners coming into second and third. Dewin touches home plate for the second time this game. Poole down to third and Hassan down to second with a 2-out double. The Norsemen make it a 5-run game. Ben Seguin has singled and struck out looking. Now with Riley Hassan on second base. As shadows now fully enveloped the field, it was a scorching high 80s degrees, high 80s, I suppose, as Seguin cuts and misses at strike one when this game began, but shade has brought merciful cool onto this field. 1-1, high. People's trying to get out of it. blooped into right field, coming on and making the grab is a right fielder, Campbell Cassidy, to strand two men in scoring position. The Norsemen once again kicking themselves for leaving such men in prime position, but they do tag on one. The bottom of the 7th will commence with a 7-2 margin in the Lightning's favor. Just one frame left for each team to add on any more runs here. Top of the 7th ready to commence. The Norsemen have their submarine throwing right-handed ace on the mound to close this one in Lucas Francis, senior USM. He will face off against Grady Hotham to begin the final frame for the Norseman defense. Leads Hotham off with a curveball inside, 1-0. Hotham has grounded out, reached on a fielder's choice, and partook in the double party in the 5th inning. That's high. Hit hard out to right center. Coming on, making the grab is Poole for the first out. David Jurowitz jawing at him playfully as Poole swooped in and stole that putout from him. I like the aggressiveness, he says. I agree personally. Nick Frink has flied out, doubled, and hit a sacrifice fly. Line foul for strike one. A 1 lined to second base, thrown on Chimino. Seguin gets a easy second out. Five pitches and 2 outs. Francis doing what he does best, inducing weak, put-outable contact. And perhaps the final man to bat for the Lightning will be Campbell Cassidy, who takes the ball low. The Edward Little graduate has singled, struck out, and grounded out. One-0 from the Submariner. Hit into right field, running on Jurowitz, but it drops foul. Top of the 7th, the Lightning bat. They lead 7-2. Lucas Francis trying to put their bats to rest for good. And that's grounded to short. Fielded by Kyle Doohan over to Seguin for the 3rd out. 1, 2, 3 go the Lightning. Their run total will remain at 7, and it will remain to be seen if the Norsemen, renowned for miraculous comebacks, can pull one more out of their hat. They trail by 5, heading to the bottom of the 7th. You know what I always say, don't go anywhere. So sorry about that, I had some technical difficulties. We are in the bottom of the 7th with 2 away. The first 2 men, David York and David Jurowitz, both grounded out. And the Norsemen down to their final out if they hope to complete any sort of comeback. And that out's name is Regan Thomas, who has struck out swinging and lined out to right. Takes the ball in the dirt. Apologize again. There was a mishap in which the press record button appeared to have been pressed, or felt as though it had been pressed, but upon closer inspection had not been pressed. And those first 2 outs were very quick. And that will hit Thomas right in the shoulder. So a 2-out base runner. It's a mountain to climb, but the Norsemen have done it in the past. Made up deficits of more than this, both in wins and in losses. Their 7th innings have been unmatched. Regan Thomas at first for Lucas Francis, who has grounded out twice. Just pitched a 1-2-3 top of the 7th inning. Runner goes. Francis gets under that one. Into shallow center. Coming on is Lodger to make the grab and end the threat. The Lightning will win this one 7-2. Bring their record to 3 wins and 2 losses. Over 500 for the first time this season. The Norsemen fall to 3-6-1 in last place now in the GNCBL. What a great game it was, full of runs, twists, and turns, as so many of them are wont to be. I've been Charlie Fellows, bringing you this action. If you liked what you saw, why not go back into the YouTube account you saw this from? See some more of the games, catch yourself up on the action. You'll next hear from me on Sunday, where I'm a doubleheader at Goodall Park in Sanford, my personal favorite place to call games. I will hear from you. You will hear me then. Until then, have a good one.